Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Lazarus anime on Toonami, and I really didn't enjoy this one. Now, I don't think it's completely and utterly bad, but I wouldn't watch another season. I don't really care about the characters or the world. It's very, very strange. I don't think it's completely and utterly bad, but I do think it's just kind of bland. Like, I didn't really care much about the characters. I didn't get pulled into the world and the world building like Cowboy Bebop or anything like that because Shinichiro Watanabe was involved with this. We also have the John Wick on the action, and the action is just not as like gripping as even the stuff that I would see in Cowboy Bebop. It's mainly done as style over substance, if that makes sense. Like, we kind of get certain kind of character moments in certain kind of action scenes, but it's mainly this looks cool, let's do this shit, versus okay, yeah, that can be interesting, but how does that connect with the characters? We get a little bit of that in the beginning with the Axel character, showing him doing all this kind of parkouring moves and everything as he's escaping a prison and pretty much being locked up for doing all these escapes and everything for so long, and everyone's like, what the fuck are you, why do you have such a long ass sentence? Because we get this team pulled together for Lazarus that's got Axel, Chris, Leland, Elena, and Doug, and they are tasked with finding Dr. Skinner. In 2049, he had pretty much done this drug called Hopna, which was like the ultimate kind of painkiller. However, now we've gotten 3 years later, and he then releases a video saying, yeah, anybody who took Hopna is going to die in like 30 days. So that gets off our premise. We get Axel recruited into the organization. Hirsch is pretty much their handler, with Abel being the one on top of them, and they are tasked with finding Skinner. However, within these 13 episodes, they mainly fuck around more than having it being kind of really honed in on. They try and find all these kind of things before they pretty much actually found him in the very fucking beginning. We actually really see him in this homeless camp that has a someone that's pretty much an acquaintance of Axel, and then we just come back to there at the end. It was almost like, all right, this feels like a real gigantic waste of time as they're doing all these supposed leads trying to figure out these kind of things. We do get certain kind of backstories on these people. Axel's gets connected with that he was experimented on with like this Hopna kind of stuff, which then comes in later on. That Skinner wasn't really a bad guy, but that the military, this Schneider dude, was developing Hopna bioweapons, and he tried to escape with a sample to kind of warn everybody. However, it was unleashed in an airport. It killed a lot of people, except for our Lazarus team. They revived, and that's why they're called Lazarus. And we see that it's like, oh, okay. Now that's at the end. But we see them kind of going through and trying to explore these different kind of things. Elena was from this cult that worshipped an AI of Skinner's that was copied from Skinner's brain. It's like, all right. Leland, this ultra wealthy kid that was kind of in like an illegitimate kind of scenario and has a strained relationship with his sister. However, they need her to kind of get into this kind of rich club whole thing because they would be monitoring Skinner's kind of heart. He's got an artificial heart. We see them kind of going all different kind of places. Elena trying to do this thing, trying to figure out the information from this popcorn wizard person who is in Pakistan, and it like we go all these places, but none of it really feels lived in. It's more like, instead of like Cowboy Bebop, where you would get a pretty good feel of like Mars or Earth, for instance, when you go there, you don't really feel that here. It's like, picture doing an Indiana Jones style kind of thing, except the closest you really get to ever doing a kind of place is just kind of the map and the point and getting to that point on the map, and then it's just like, oh, okay, we're not really exploring, we're not really seeing what's kind of going on here. It's just really doesn't really have a good feel to it. It's you don't really feel any kind of stakes here. I mean, the whole world should be ending, and it just feels like there's no urgency. And then everything just has to kind of come together at the end, and they even kind of do a tease of like, we might even have a season 2. It's like, good for you, but I don't really care that much about it. We get that Chris is an ex-Soviet, well, ex-Russian agent that got out of it, and we see that she gets pretty much captured as they're trying to find Skinner stuff. And then they have to do a rescue mission on her, which they have to go against certain kind of things. And of course, the Schneider dude was part of this INSCOM kind of thing. And she gets captured because of this. We do get this panel being like, your team has done jack shit. What the fuck? And Abel's like, now we're doing... I'm like, I'd literally be like, listen, if I looked at any... Like, I'm watching this anime. I would literally go in and be like, they ain't doing shit. They're just going to get plot dumped in at the end. And that's pretty much what you're going to get. It's like, okay. Like, they literally found him in the beginning. And they should have literally been done right there. And it's... Instead of coming off as a tease of like, oh, it was under their noses the whole time, it's more like, I've been wasting all this and everything. They're trying to kind of show what humanity has done, why Skinner would probably potentially go on this route, even though most of that is just red herrings to be like, no, they're making weapons and shit. We've got this dude trying to kill Axel, and somebody already killed the doctor, and we're trying to figure out what's kind of going on with him and this Hunden shit. And it's just like, he was just made to pretty much being a perfect assassin kind of thing, and then killed all the people at the assassin school, teachers included. And it's like, oh, now he's free. It's like, what the fuck is the Hunden thing? It's like, I don't care. I don't fucking care. Blow up the fucking place that you're at. I don't give a fucking shit. It was just like, oh my god. Oh, it's very interesting that this is an anime that attempts to say a lot, but says nothing. I don't feel like these characters bonded at all, that they had any really kind of good relationship as a team. I mean, like with Cowboy Bebop, yeah, they were kind of a team, but you also understood why they kind of went their separate ways, because even though as a team and having any kind of objectives, they also had their own personal kind of objectives. I didn't even really get that kind of out of this, where there was no kind of bringing together moment for them. It's all kind of forced and just, oh, this is what we want to kind of happen. It's like, okay, what else you got? And it just has nothing. It's Abel just outmaneuvers Schneider because the plot demands it. I mean, Schneider went nuts and fucking killed the one dude and made it look like he was trying to go crazy himself. I'm like, all right. It's kind of the dark kind of horse at the end where it's like, oh, we're making Schneider out to look like the villain, but this was the villain all along. It's like, we've got 13 episodes. We fucked around for a good bit where we jump around. We fucking found Skinner's grandma. We were looking at like all these places that potentially had people that had this genetic anomaly that made them not be able to feel pain. Trying to figure out what goes on with not feeling pain and how that would kind of change the world and everything like that. It has interesting kind of bigger questions that are just kind of left there and not even truly explored. I understand trying to be like, okay, explore it on your own, see what you would do in this kind of scenario. Yeah, but I'm like, you just dropped a cookie there, and it's just fucking rotting, and you're not doing anything with it. What are you attempting to do to kind of move that along, to have that kind of dialogue? It's one thing to be like, to spoon feed someone 2 + 2 = 4. It's another thing to be like, glibble glork flockenfuken, kabalspaga, and then just fuck off. It's like, and figure it out on your own. I got nothing. Like, even basic to context understanding of what the fuck that even does, means, or has even any inkling of what's going on with the story. That's like, alright. Beaver butt fart burger. What? You're an idiot. You don't get it. It's like, Of course I don't get it, because you just shit it right in front of me. Is this supposed to mean something? Is this supposed to, like, come to anything? And yeah, work can be involved in understanding and trying to get into a work of art, but you need to have a little something to actually go there. And then the action, I mean, they put that as a really big selling point, and I'm like, there's a lot better action anime out there. Like, it didn't even draw me in. I'm like, okay, this looks pretty, it's executed well enough, but it's not drawing me in. It just does stuff that other shows have done before, and usually stuff that's been pretty much done better. Like, Cowboy Bebop. Like, I know I keep bringing that up, but that's like one of those big ones, and one of those big ones that I like, and I can understand that these people like that as well, but it's like, those were done and executed in such great ways, and going from like a live action kind of one to doing an anime kind of one action scene is a very kind of different beast. You have to do things in a different kind of way, and you have to have the animators doing the kind of smoothness that Cowboy Bebop is really known for, and it's like, oh yeah, when you're seeing, you understand how Spike moves, what his goals are when he's attempting to do stuff. Axel, it's like, we've got a plot demanded one, so we're just gonna see him do parkour and shit. It's like, alright, you pretty much have that right off the get-go, so it's like, okay. Chris doesn't really have much, because they don't really devote that much time to her, to get her really into any kind of scenario to see her what's going on, except for like when they were trying to pretty much go after this one kind of hacker dude for like a bit wallet kind of thing, when she was kind of in her kind of girl glam mode, and then trying to figure out and deal with the whole kind of situation. Leland was more a kind of like the drone kind of dude, which at least worked out well enough on that kind of front with his electronics. Elena, of course, doing her stuff with her hacking and all that. Doug was kind of pretty much the driver kind of dude, and just was made to be kind of like the cool older brother, one that's like kind of trying to help them out with being the kind of lead person on that. Kind of trying to be like Jet to a degree, that kind of rock, that person that you would depend upon to kind of hold things together as much as possible, but they don't really give him much to do on that front or anything past that. Man, this was just disappointing, and not even like that it was really completely utterly horrendous. It's just bland, meh, there. I would recommend any kind of other sci-fi anime or whatnot that explores these themes in a deeper kind of context. Fuck, Cowboy Bebop explores these kind of things more in probably one episode versus what we've got here in 13. It just didn't do it for me. Now, if you liked it and enjoyed it, that's fucking awesome. That's great. Music was nice. Animation quality, normally on par. Like, there wasn't anything completely not like horrendous, like a complete place or like something that just was like, their arm is up their ass, how the fuck did that occur? It's like, what? No any kind of weirdness on those kind of fronts. Quality is at least what you would expect from anime today, i.e. no any kind of weirdness, no kind of like bad kind of shots. The action is not as fluid as I would like, and sometimes would go even a little bit more too fluid than I would think, and just be kind of like a little bit like, but never to the point where I'm thinking, that thing is a fucking goopy slime motherfucker. Yeah, I was looking forward to this, but it ultimately didn't do really much for me. So, those are my opinions on the anime. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.